Hi guys, I'm Jacob, and in this video I'm going to share with you why you replay conversations for hours on end, how to actually stop, and how to become more socially free at the root cause forever. Now, does this sound familiar to you? There are certain situations, certain social situations, such as maybe around attractive women, or around higher status guys than you, maybe strangers, or maybe your friends. There are certain social situations in which you feel anxious, you feel like you can't be present, you're dissociated, you're inhibited, you ruminate hours after, replay the conversation, or you feel the need to prepare everything you say. It feels like you're trapped in a loop, and it is genuinely so exhausting. And you likely aren't kind to yourself after. You likely attack yourself. You're extremely self-conscious. And you just find it like the natural course of events is to spiral after, which again just makes it worse. You've likely tried some things to fix your social anxiety, like exposure therapy, or learning some surface level tips on like how to have conversations with people, how to not run out of things to say. And whoop-de-doo, it doesn't fucking work, does it? And you also want to actually face the fear because you don't want social anxiety to rule your life. You don't want fear to rule your life, do you? Now, if that sounds like you at all, I've got some very powerful advice for you. I used to be in the exact same situation myself, and trust me, there is light at the end of the tunnel. You can become socially free and not have all of this shit going on. Okay, let's give a few examples of what I actually used to be like. Okay, so any social situation, beforehand, I would like prepare autistically, like the perfect words to say. Like if I had to like make a phone call or go to the doctor's or even go to the grocery store, I would like autistically plan out and imagine the situation like 10 different times from 10 different angles, waste so much energy doing that, and then come to the conversation and then I'd just be so nervous, like my hands would be shaking, my heart's beating. Like this situation is literally just like buying groceries at the grocery store or asking a question or where something is. It's the most simplest shit, and it just generated so much fear and anxiety. Like, and then after, like I'd say a few words or something to them, and then after I was like, did my tone upset them? Did I come across as weird? Am I upsetting them? And genuinely, like looking back, it's like that's so sad. That wasted so much of my time and just exhaustion. And like that's how most of my social interactions were. Or I'd just be avoiding them, to be honest. But there came a certain time where I was like, I have to face the fear. I have to become more social. I can't let it rule my life. So I took action. I went to the city maybe once every week or two and talked to a bunch of people. Tried to talk to people. I'd often end up just walking around and not talking to anyone and then ruminating after on how I'm such a fucking failure because I can't do the most simplest thing like have a conversation. But in hindsight, there was problems with that approach that I should have done beforehand. But yeah, there was also some nights where I made good progress. I talked to a bunch of attractive women. I was talking to strangers. I was being social. I could do it sometimes, but like even on the times that I could do it, like 99% of the interactions would go well. Then I'd have one percentage of one interaction that would go poorly, and it's just like, let's hyper focus everything on that exact moment that you fucked up. You see that one moment, that one fucking thing you did wrong. That's confirmation. You're a fucking failure. You're a loser. Give up. Don't try this. Ha ha ha. Like my attention was so biased to these negative events that I just like catastrophize about myself, jump to conclusions, and yeah, that's how I used to be. Now, literally a few weeks ago, I was at the beach, I saw an attractive girl sitting there, chilling, and I was like, I want to go talk to her. I walked, I asked, hey, do you mind if I have a convo with you? You looked cool. We had a 40-minute conversation. No ruminating after. And it was just that simple. So anyway, it is possible. So now I'm going to share with you the root mechanism of why this exists. Spoiler alert, you likely haven't heard this anywhere else. You've likely seen surface level advice. I'm going to get into the core of it. Instead of just, like, imagine you're going to the doctors, imagine you have a disease, you want the disease treated, not the symptoms. You're sick, you don't want the symptoms, you want the disease. This is the disease, the root. So if you attack the disease, the root of things, your social anxiety, just disappears. The root cause of social anxiety is your self-image and your attachment to the identity and the thoughts themselves, and you see them as objective truth. This is the core of it. Now, let me explain, because that probably sounds fucking weird. First off, we have a self-image. The way we see ourselves. We have stories and like words and like we think this is who we are. Like when you think you, what comes up? Likely some stories, maybe some likes, some dislikes, some character traits like I'm intelligent, I'm loving, I'm a good brother, I'm a loving father. Just character traits like I'm warm, I'm caring, I want to be seen as a loving person, I want to be kind. And it even goes into things like the stories we tell ourselves. So I'm the person who has failed a bunch. I'm a failure. It's just who I am. And seeing this as truth. It's also like the victim narrative. Life just sucks. I'm a victim. Everything is a problem. And that story, believing it to be absolutely true. These self-images, these stories, you believe them 100%. You don't question them. You don't notice the mental construction that they are, because objectively, they are thoughts. They are, and by that I mean, there is no tangible grounding of objective reality in which they exist. This book exists. Unquestionable. Gravity happens every single time. Unquestionable. You're a failure. Huh? Where is failure? I want you to identify failure. Not the thought. Literally close your eyes and try and find where it is. Not the thought. Find failure. You'll realize that there is no actual grounding to it. You might have manifestations of like what you think failure is, or I failed at X, Y, and Z, therefore I'm a failure. But try and find that in objective reality. Try and find it. You can't, because it's not. I am real. You are looking at a camera. That is real. Thoughts are merely, I think the fundamental problem is believing thoughts 100% of the time and not realizing that they are just mental constructions and they arise out of nothing. Obviously, they arise out of like your beliefs and they come up. But let me pose you this question. Would you believe your family member, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, would you believe everything they say 100% of the time without question. No, that's pretty fucking stupid, isn't it? They're obviously going to be wrong. They're obviously going to have biases, and it's just... Why do you listen to your own thoughts 100% of the time? Do you really think there's no flaws or anything within them? Learning to see them as just... You can physically do this, by the way. In your direct experience, you can train yourself to see thoughts as just mental constructions that just pass and go. You need to let go of the attachment. The attachment of being perceived a certain way. The attachment of being perceived as bad, as good. Again, these are just mental constructions. There is no bad or good in the objective sense. They are only thoughts and stories that you tell yourself. You might be able to say, yeah, there are bad behaviors, I don't like that. Okay, fair enough. You don't want to be like that. But having your self-image... Okay, actually, let me put it this way. Please bear with me, this is a hard topic to extrapolate out and actually explain. Okay, actually, first, let's delve into how it actually causes and makes social anxiety worse. Social anxiety at its root, is being scared of what other people think and having other people's thoughts of you confirm something about yourself. Fundamentally, that's really what it is. You're afraid of being seen as a certain way. Because if you weren't scared of other people's judgments or what it meant about you at all, you would have no need to be anxious. You would have no fear. You'd feel fine. Now that you understand that, how does the self-image play into that? Okay. Imagine you have an attachment to being seen as intelligent. You have this self-image of yourself. You think it's real, grounded, it's part of you. You want to be seen as intelligent. Okay? Now, in social situations, you will perform. You will perform for other people. You will try to get them to see you in a certain light. Being seen as intelligent will then generate positive emotions. You'll feel pride. You'll feel good. Woo, I'm intelligent. This is awesome. I am intelligent. Yes. Your ego will feel good. Your ego will feel stroked. But what happens as a result? You generate worth and happiness based on this thing. Fundamentally, you are generating value, pride, because of external events. You need other people to confirm that you are intelligent. There is no objective grounding of you in intelligence. It's just not a thing. You constantly seek out and need other people to confirm what you think is you. You think you're intelligent? You need other people to confirm that you're intelligent. It's like, a good example is you're eating a cake, you feel great immediately, but hours later, you feel shit, your stomach feels like crap. Extrapolate this out longer. Instead of just feeling like shit for a few hours, it's feeling like shit for months, for years. This is what happens when you believe and you need other people to see you as intelligent. And this intelligent is a placeholder for your entire self-image. You see yourself as intelligent, loving, calm, warm, strong. You're not emotionally weak. You need to be seen. You need other people to see you as this. You need evidence. This is true. You have to grasp onto it and hold it like it's a real tangible thing. You think it's real. Book there. Yes? Where is intelligent? Where is smart? There might be physical, behavioral manifestations of someone who might be considered smart, but that isn't you. You behaved smart. You behaved smartly. That wasn't a fucking smart behavior. I couldn't speak. But as a result of me not being able to speak just then, I wouldn't make the conclusion that I am not smart. Sometimes, okay, let's put it like this. We love to think of ourselves in absolute terms. I am intelligent. I am smart. I am calm. Okay? Now let me pose you this. Are there times when you perhaps haven't been intelligent? Have you acted dumb? Yes. X, Y, Z example of me being stupid. Which one is you? Which one is you? You're intelligent, but you behaved like that. What? How can you be intelligent? Both are inclusive. You are both. And you are neither. By that, I want you to think they're just behaviors. They're just experiences. And jumping to the conclusion that you, as a person, are a specific label or story is causing you pain. Sometimes I will act stupidly. Sometimes I will act smartly. Okay? I'm not stupid. I'm not smart. I just exist. Sometimes I do that. Yeah. That's the type of paradigm that you want to have. Like the self-image and the attachment to it causes so much pain. If you believe that you're a loving mother, for example, and then you receive evidence that you're not a loving mother, like your child says, oh, you never treated me right. Holy shit, that entire identity crumbles to the ground. I know it's an extreme example, but you get the point. There is no physical thing happening there. You're not being punched, but it's still causing you so much pain because you're attached to this label, this word, I'm a good mother. You've built your self-image, crafted it around it. That causes pain. That causes you to perform for others. You need to be a certain way. Are you beginning to see how neurotic this can be? You're constantly you're constantly needing other people to confirm what you think is you. You think you're a good mother? You need to perform for other people so that they confirm that you're a good mother. And if you receive evidence that I'm not a good mother, you feel so shitty. Because who you think you are is crumbling. It's falling apart. And that is painful. I hope I've painted you a picture of why it's bad and how to let go. Well, actually, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about how to let go in a second. But I hope you have got the idea of why it's such a bad thing to hold on to these labels and to see them as true. So how do we let go? How do we let go of the attachment? Okay, first of all, shadow work. That is going to heal parts of our psyche that we've disowned. That is going to be immensely powerful in this work. That is like 75% of the work, and I have made other videos on it. So subscribe for that. The rest of the work is meditation, and meditation in a way, well, there's more, but let me just explain this. Meditation in a way that you have awareness before the thought. You're watching and aware of the thought. So you have a mental construct, a story, a thought, it arises, and you sit there and you notice it. You notice that it's arising out of nothing. Once you do that enough, I'll give you an example of my meditation structure that I'm doing in order to focus on disidentifying from thoughts. Thoughts are not me. If you don't believe the thoughts, you can't believe the self-image and the other shit that causes social anxiety. So, I guess one of the roots is disidentifying from thoughts. Okay, so I sit there and rest in awareness. I'll explain what that means. I will sit there and focus on my body sensations, on how my fingers feel, on how my heart is, on how my butt's connecting with the ground, on how I feel, on sensations themselves. A mental construction will arise, and like a story, a thought, an image, a video is playing out in your head. You notice that, and then you return to sensation. You can literally say noted as like a thought. You can then note that, and then go back to sensation. So it's watching your sensations, a thought comes up, and then you go back to sensations. You don't question or attack or like do anything with the thought. You don't try to change it, control it, or do anything. You just notice it, it's there, then go back to your like awareness, the sensation itself. And finally, it's a lot of questioning. Questioning like the absoluteness of my identity. A good like line of questioning is, so a good line of questioning to like dissolve or slowly lessen the attachment to identities in general is ask what, like write down all the ways you want to be perceived by others. You want to be good, calm, warm, loving, etc. Strong. And then I want you to write down all the ways that you perceive as bad. How do you not want to be perceived as others by? And then I want you to take the like most emotionally charged one, the one you believe the most to be true, and then I want you to question that. Is this true in all situations? Have there been times where I don't behave like this? Or is this me? Where is blank trait? Where is it really? And just sit there and try to experience and find it. You would see that it's just a thought. Like spending like a minute just sitting there and trying to look for intelligent. Experientially, not think about it. Like look for it. Like just place your awareness on it. In the same way that you can place your awareness on the tip of your fingertips. Ooh, now that you've done that, your awareness is there. Or on the bottom of your feet. You can feel your feet on the floor. Or you can feel them in the air. Or you can feel your butt on the chair. See, I'm doing it right now to myself. In the same way that you can like manipulate your awareness and like the direct inquiry into like the objectiveness of thoughts. Like how real are they? They're just, by looking at them and placing your awareness on them, you can figure out experientially, directly, that they're just thoughts. Shit. Then if you do that enough times, you'll realize and your body will just relax. And you can also find situations and like journal, like what behaviors are manifesting as a result of my identities. Just like, and just learn to let this go. I'll do another video on this later on. Comment down if you want it, but a good way to start is to just use an AI prompt. So yeah, that's this video. I know it's like an abstract one, but I hope you've learned some valuable things from it, and I hopefully have like blown your mind and your paradigm like wide open of what the actual cause is, because this and like shadow work, those are the things that actually give you results, wholeness, fullness, being able to enjoy life, and true happiness, to put it blankly, peace. So yeah, follow for more, subscribe, yeah, take care, bye.